Shadow Legends, we're going to talk about Arbiter and how I'm a dummy. And sometimes I do the weirdest things and I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I've been doing this wrong for such a long time. Now, when you first started playing the game, one of the main things to get started is to follow the missions. And the missions specifically that I'm talking about are the Arbiter missions. Like I'm going to click right here and I've already finished the Arbiter missions, but it's essentially the Arbiter missions are like a tutorial on how to play Raid Shadow Legends. And as you go through that, you get to go through the various game modes and have a deeper understanding of the game because the game is complicated. Now, the reward for the Arbiter missions is Arbiter. And Arbiter was a character that came out, I believe, on launch of the game. And it's kind of like the whole story pretty much centers around Arbiter. And the good news is that she's a completely viable character for all players. She's one of the best characters, I think, in the game. And you can essentially get her very early on in your Raid Shadow Legends journey. Now, I'm going to talk about this big mistake I made and some of the resources I used to combat me making silly mistakes and just things that I didn't know. But if you want to get started playing Raid Shadow Legends, there's a link here in the description or scan the QR code. And you'll be on your way to get Arbiter with a total of 2 legendaries and 3 epics. You're going to get Tagore, Ugo, and Lady Annabelle as epics supports. And then you get Sun Wukong with using promo code Monkey King in the first 24 hours. That's probably the most important thing. And then you also get Corrado. So what did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? I was using a blessing called Survival Instinct. So when you get the red stars on Arbiter, you're able to put a blessing. And I was using a blessing called Survival Instinct, which fills a champion turn meter by 5%, right? Partially fills a turn meter whenever a debuff placed or spread or transfer onto him occurs once per enemy turn. And I was Googling some things and I was looking at the blessings that other people were using in Arena. And then I went back to Hell Hades and it said Survival Instinct. And then I went over to Yumi Love. And I think that's the point I'm trying to get at is Raid Shadow Legends is a complicated game. And I have to pull in information from multiple sources like Reddit, YouTube videos, Yumi Love, Hell Hades, and then I'm able to make decisions on what's going to work best on what I'm trying to do. Because in Raid Shadow Legends, even though there are good and better choices on how to equip characters, it depends what you're trying to do, right? And I am pretty much only using Arbiter in Arena as a lead, and I was finding out, from going to different sites that, the most recommended one is Intimidating Presence, which I equipped it and I was just like, all right, strengthens your team's aura by 7.5%, weakens the enemy's team aura, and I am winning now in Arena since I changed that. And I was like, oh, I'm such a dummy. And then I was like, Hell Hades is trash. No, I'm trash. I did not look at the site correctly because in Arena, whoever goes first is typically the winner. And the whole goal of Arbiter is to make her the fastest character in your roster. And I'm somewhat proud of where I got her. I mean, I think I got her at 370, and I know a lot of people are pushing over 400. I even heard of a theoretical number closer to like 500, 372. That's as good as it gets for me. That's by far my highest one. But whoever goes first wins in Arena. Not always. There's definitely turn 2 teams. And then I found this blessing and I was like, why would I put this other blessing on? This is the one that I want. And I didn't notice there was a button right here. Show Arena blessings. And you click it and there it is. Intimidating Presence. Now, they recommended Temporal Change, which I think is a good choice. Now, you can change your blessings once for free. So, like when you first get a red star on Arbiter, the first time that you go in, you can change it and there's no cost. But the second time, it's like, whoops, it's 200 gems. And so this does give you some flexibility to do that. Now, the same thing is true on masteries, and maybe I got the masteries wrong. You know, maybe I need to go to these masteries right here. Let's see here, masteries. I don't know if I'm running these masteries. Yeah, I'm running these masteries. So there's also options on, you know, how would you mod her if you're going to use her against bosses? How are you going to use her if you're going to use her just in the arena? And what I'm finding now is that I only use Arbiter in arena. I use her in live arena. I use her in tag team arena, and I use her in a classic arena. Now, I do and have used her in other places in the game, and she's a very versatile character, but I'm not as much as I once did, mostly because her aura, which is 30% extra speed inside of arena, right? Which is one of the better ones, right? I think there's one other one out there that I know is 32, but this is better than like Sun Wukong or He-Man or some of the other ones that are at 28. 30 is where I'm shooting for, right? And she's going to be my lead. Now, if you look at like ban rates inside of live arena, because, you know, you pick your characters, you get ban rates. The top 2 banned characters are going to be Arbiter and Sun Wukong. And Sun Wukong you can get for free by using the promo code right when you start playing the game. Also, too, if you're an existing raid player, you have to use a new email address and generally a new device, or you can do it on a new PC client to get all those freebies that I mentioned at the beginning of the video by using the QR code. But the promo code's got to go there in the first 24 hours. Monkey King is the one I said. And that only works to the end of the month. And then also, if you're on iOS, it's probably best to go to the Plarium website to do that. But Arbiter, yeah, she needs to go first and fast. And yes, I do use her sometimes outside of arena. But no, I'm using her all the time in arena, and she just needs to be fast. I'm not even concerned too much about her other stats, because if I go first, then I can do my silly things with Sun Wukong. Now, these 2 champions right here are typically the 2 most banned champions in live arena. I believe as a percentage, and the most annoying character that gets banned in live arena is going to be this guy. This guy's terrible. The guy looks like Johnny Depp's or Armand's. He's horrible. He's truly awful. I just take one look at his kit, and you're like, why would they do this? This is kind of be scary right here. Skeletor, though, I don't understand. I was watching a video short the other day. 7 legendaries you should not upgrade in Raid Shadow Legends, and Skeletor was one of them. I was like, oh, he was a bonus when the He-Man thing came out. But you can see, like, as long as I go early in the match, and typically that's what I'm doing, and now that I know that this right here is intimidating presence, I'm looking for ones that don't have that. See, I look right there, she doesn't have that. So I'm betting I'm going to be faster just because I'm using that aura. And it's just one of those subtlety things to look at that little icon, and that icon is the blessing that they're using, right? All right. And it seems like there's a pretty significant step up, like from 1 to 3 to 5, and then 6 is going to be the biggest impact, of course, but in what they actually do. But see, I'm looking right here. You can see that this one is not, like, I'm going to be faster here. I might be able to win. There's quite often the times I can go through and blast through all of them, but you get the idea. The point is, use multiple sources of information. There's all kinds of extra tabs here. And the idea is not to lean too heavily on this, but you're going to have to at the start, like I do all the time. But as I learn how to play the game better, I'm going to be able to make my own decisions, right? And that's, I'm sure there's a lot of veteran players. Just learn how to play the game yourself. This game is challenging. And if you've been playing the game for 7 years, well, yeah, maybe, or 6 years, whatever it is, you know, then it's not challenging to you. But someone that's playing the game less than a year, you know, I'm becoming dependent on resources like Hell Hades and Yumi Love and you guys. All right. If you haven't done so already, click the link in the description or scan the QR code to get Corrado, Ugo, Tagore, and Lady Annabelle, and then use promo code Monkey King to get some Wukong. That only works until the end of the month. So run, don't walk if you want to get some Wukong. There's going to be a different choice, but I don't think they're going to be as good as Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong, there's like 6 of them that you can use, and I know Sun Wukong's the best one. Bye for now.